Luminous was actually supposed to be a full-fledged video. It's a combination of ideas from my former main com back in 2020. It was supposed to exploit a lot of the angles that you usually can have from videos as compared to just a stage where everything is just frontal view. But that idea kind of got taken away when we were proposed another project with a bigger group. It was the alumni lung production. So we kind of gave all the video theatrics, all those elements to that project, and then right there I was just left with a completed score without a concept. So that was the challenge that I had for the rest of the year. Score's name didn't really have much to do with the final concept of the score. It gave more ode to what the performance would mean for the drummers of that batch. It would be the first staging of Salvo drums after 3 years. Because of COVID, it took away a lot of our exposure and all the muscle memory that we trained up to. So that kind of stopped us from being able to perform live as often as we could. The piece is not only a score debut, but it's Salvo's debut back on stage. When I came up with the concept, I was quite adamant on basing the score style heavily on a past concert which TP Salvo Drums performed way before I was enrolled. My sister was part of that performance. It was called 317, and I noticed that in every single score of that whole concert, they gave ample time to balance the way audiences take in both the composition and the choreography itself. So when I wanted to apply that to the Luminous score, I tried my best to make each rhythm a bit more different. It was not as repetitive as a lot of our past scores. So that kind of settled the duration of the score. As for the presence and how special the score looked, I tried to bring back things like stacked drums, tilted drums to just explore the vertical presence of the score. So there were a few inclusions of that during the original take, but because we had a lack of manpower, so we had to cut down the formation to a regular 2-3-4-3 formation. There's no one approach to composing, but if we're talking about composing for a Salvo drum score specifically, I think the best way to see it is to create a score like it's a choreography more than a composition. Because I think we've evolved to a standard where our scores tell stories. It is better to work from a storyline, so hence a choreography, and work our way around that choreography to create the composition. The mask reveal and the collective head tilt are at the second climax of the score. Interestingly enough, this part was added 3 hours before the debut of the score. So it was never really trained. I just gathered everybody at the back right before the performance, right before we changed into our costumes, and asked them what to do, and they managed to do it. The whole point of it was to kind of acknowledge the audience, because I wanted to break away from the usual stance that when people watch a Salvo drums performance, it's usually just an intimidating display, but there's never really any direction except for forward. And it did what I wanted to. The reaction from the audience was quite resounding, and the acknowledgement it was satisfying. I approach composing spontaneously. Like, I will execute things spontaneously because sometimes I can only envision what looks best once I see it in action. I can't prepare it at home and then be certain that it will work out when I train, because everybody has different skills. And the biggest issue was that out of the 9 performers, 3 were freshies, and 2 of them are alumni that have not touched the jobs for almost 2 years. So getting all of them back to the proper standards that we usually train people up to, it was quite difficult. But it all worked out. Everybody contributed, everybody vocalized on what their skills and capabilities were. So we could come to choreographies and patterns that would be suitable for everybody to do, and at the very least look professional. Similar to how I approached the composition, I feel like a score is not really just about the music, it's about the elements that it presents. So basically, the biggest drive that you can have to create a piece that you feel connected to is, of course, the things that you love. So whether it's a dream, a vision, or even a person, use that as inspiration to start composing. The score has a very similar structure to one of the scores in 3:17 AM. It's called Penance. It was co-composed by Gerald Quack. He was the vice president of that year. If I'm not wrong, it was 2018. And he has been quite a big help even until this year, 2024. He's helped me with like my journey to become a better teacher. He kind of points out things that I can improve on, and he just keeps reminding me on things that are important here, which is to maintain the discipline of the art form. This score was composed for TAC Spectacular 2022, which happened on April, and it was composed in conjunction of Dreams, which happens in late January 2022. So we had 4 months to start composing for 2 different scores, with a gap of like 3 months to train it. So it was quite difficult because the people that were in charge, there were only 3 of us, and unfortunately all 3 of us were juggling internship, school, and also training the freshies. So on top of all that, we had to compose and train the specific scores. So I think overall we produced 2 items in a span of 4 months, with the main com juggling school, internship, and training at the same time.
Being part of this exhibition, as a new member of TP Salvo Drums, I get to learn about how Salvo Drums came to be. It's definitely a fruitful experience for me, because I get to learn about how the past event has been held and how all the music scores are being composed. While being involved in Salvo Drums exhibition, I'm mainly in charge in researching for the information needed for the infographics. So I feel like the most fun part, I think it's not as fun as other people think it is, but I feel like it's definitely when I obtain the information that I needed, especially when a lot of the information requires translation and attention to details. Because most of the information was recorded in Chinese, so most of my part I need to record and translate it into English so that everyone else can understand. Although the process can be quite tedious, but I feel like the end result is quite rewarding. Thank you so much for your support, especially to the peers, classmates, friends, or even families of our CCA members. We couldn't have ever made it without your overwhelming support. Please do look forward to our future events and have a great day. Thank you.
How I feel that this Tapestry event has really brought out growth in our Salvo Drums members is that I see a lot of them really putting the passion and dedication into this Tapestry event. So for example, the ones that need to be in charge of infographics, I always see them practicing and really putting in the time to memorize their own infographics and make the exhibition an exciting experience for everyone attending. I also feel that our Salvo Drums members that are in charge of the creative merchandise that all of you guys have seen in this exhibition, I feel very proud of that as well, because they have really thought creatively of how to sell our merchandise, how to make it interesting for people who know us, as well as for people who aren't really familiar with Salvo Drums as a CCA. This Tapestry event, I feel that what I realized is that our CCA, all we need to pull through doing such a complex and elaborate event is that all we need to do is have perseverance and resilience as a CCA. Because even though it was tough planning and executing this whole event, all we needed to do was put in the dedication and time in order to work together and find solutions to problems that we had along the way, and really come up with an event that both we can be proud of to share with the community as well as our own efforts as a CCA. A big thank you to everyone who is here at the exhibition supporting us, as this is an event that you don't really expect from us as an arts group. And we really thank you guys for all your support coming to the event, and I hope that personally you guys can really appreciate the rich history of our CCA as well as the many activities that we have in store for you guys, as we have really put a lot of heart, soul and dedication into this project.